First, we're taking a look at a big education bill focused on parents' rights. It's been approved by the legislature. WTMJ's Wyatt Barmore-Pooley is in the studio with the details. Good afternoon, Wyatt.
Good afternoon, John. Mike, it's called the Parents' Bill of Rights. It's not officially called that, but that's the informal name for AB 510. It's all approved in the legislature. It now awaits the pen of the governor. It's got 16 specific fundamental rights related to education. That includes letting parents determine where and what type of school they attend, the kids' religion, as well as the names and pronouns kids use at school, as well as, interestingly, the ability to opt out of anything being taught, either for religious reasons or simply personal convictions. Some of the highlights there, that's some of the more controversial ones as well. And it's a bill that's received a lot of strong reactions from progressives. I spoke with Lucy Ripp, the communications director for A Better Wisconsin Together. That's a progressive advocacy group.
This bill essentially seeks to shut down classroom discussions in Wisconsin of things like race and gender and sexuality, and in turn really just censor the stories of marginalized communities.
Big Republican bill, not shocking that progressives are speaking out against it, but officials in state government also speaking strongly against the bill. Abigail Sweats is the communications director for the Department of Public Instruction. Obviously, they're concerned with schools. She's a former 8th grade teacher. This is her weighing in.
And this kind of bill is really part of a pattern of attacks that I think we're seeing on public ed, because it's designed to shut down discussion and really inserts our educators into a culture war that no one should be fighting in the first place.
Ripp also highlighted a specific collaboration that was part of the bill between Republican lawmakers and the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. She's not happy that Will helped with writing the bill, and I went to the best person to ask about what their involvement was. Cory Brewer is the education counsel for the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty.
Will does a lot of work on parental rights, legal and policy issues, so often policymakers do look to us for feedback and suggestions on legislation.
And I ended up speaking to her last, just with all how it shook out, and her perspective was what I wanted to get most of all, because I spoke to two people who were against the bill. She obviously helped with the crafting of it, and her perspective was really interesting. She doesn't even get why what is in there is controversial.
A lot of the rights in this bill, they're already in state or federal law for the most part, but they're not being respected. This really should be a bipartisan issue and something that Governor Evers should support.
And it's something that Governor Evers is unlikely to support. He vetoed a similar measure back in 2022. And so I asked them all the same question. We got a lot of energy being spent on this bill, whether in writing it, in helping get it crafted, and then in speaking out against it. A lot of stuff going on for something that might not ever become Wisconsin state law. So why was that so important to spend all that energy on when it's just going to probably get the red pen?
Someone needs to stick up for public schools and educators and students and say, hey, this isn't the kind of legislation that we want in Wisconsin. And
that minority is creating more of a toxic environment, and that discourages the rest of us to really raise our voice. I think it's important that we do, and we show our kids that we are standing up for them.
I think it's worth fighting for parents' rights. This shouldn't really be controversial. It should be bipartisan.
So we got people sticking up for both students and parents here, John.
So 2 questions. Has it gone to the Senate?
Yes. This has been approved in both the Assembly and Senate.
Is there any chance that the governor signs this?
I will step outside of... usually I don't make these kind of calls. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
he is not going to sign this. He is a former public school teacher. He's been pretty in step with the Department of Public Instruction in opposition to a lot of these Republican-funded, backed school change bills. There's been this has been a priority for Republicans in Wisconsin for the last couple of years, and it is something that the governor disagrees fundamentally with them on.